God is not threatened by honest doubt. A lot of people who proclaim atheism these days just have a simple doubt in their hearts that if they brought it to God, God is willing to answer their question. But they are fast to say, I don't believe in God because there are doubts in my heart. If you doubt some things in your heart, you're in good company. If you check through the Bible, you will see that you're not the first person that is going to doubt God. God was talking to Abraham at some point. Abraham was laughing, but he did not leave God. At some point, Job had to take his request to God about the so many things happening to him that he did not understand. Habakkuk stood in the place of prayer asking questions of God and asking God, do you not care when I cry? Same thing happened with so many of the saints, including David. But when we have doubts in this generation, we are fast to say, since I don't believe God absolutely, since I have questions in my mind, then it must mean that I'm no longer a Christian. But that's not true. It takes more than that to not be a Christian. Unbelief is what makes an atheist, not doubt. It's okay if there are doubts in your mind once in a while. It's even proof that you have a functioning brain when you have questions. I have had questions in my Christian journey. Several times in life, I've had to answer so many questions. But what differentiates the believer from the unbeliever when we doubt is that even in doubt, the believer goes back to God. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5 says that the believer finds all of his answer, all of her answer in God. When Job was crying, he was crying before God. When Abraham was laughing, he was laughing before God. When Jeremiah had questions, in Jeremiah chapter 23, verse chapter 20 downwards, you will see Jeremiah with several questions, but he didn't leave the faith. He stood there asking the question. And God is always willing to answer our doubts. When Peter was sinking because of his doubts, what did Jesus do? Jesus pulled him up out of the water. It was not the end for Peter. When Thomas doubted Jesus and said, the Jesus I'm looking at doesn't look like the one that died. If you are the one, show me your hands. Let me see the nail prints, where the nails went into your hand. Jesus did not say, for doing that, you're no longer one of my disciples. No, Jesus showed him the prints. He opened his hand and showed the prints to Thomas. Jesus is willing to answer your doubts, to answer your questions. No matter how complex you think they are, the Bible can answer them. I tell you today, I've had questions, several of them personal, some of them universal. But then I always go back to God to get my answers. I studied philosophy in the university. You should understand that that alone is enough to prove that I have more questions than so many people can begin to understand. But I find my answer in God. Find that answer in God. Find that answer in God. Remember that God is willing to answer any question. Go back to God and find that answer. The Lord bless you.